Hi everybody, I'm Ron Cantor and you're watching Out of Zion on God TV. In part one, we shared the primary precursors to the Six-Day War. President Nasser of Egypt blocked the port of Eilat and nationalized the Suez Canal, something, if Israel tolerated, would cripple her economy. Nasser also kicked out the UN peacekeeping force in the Sinai Desert that was serving as a buffer between Israel and Egypt. And finally, Nasser and al-Attasi, Syria's president, were both publicly threatening Israel's annihilation. Al-Attasi's successor, Hafez al-Assad, already wielded great power in Syria as its defense minister. He joined the others in calling for Israel's destruction and annihilation. Israel had been putting up with this kind of belligerent rhetoric for years. In 1965, Egypt's Nasser declared, "Our aim is the full restoration of the rights of the Palestinian people." In other words, we aim at the destruction of the state of Israel. The immediate aim, perfection of Arab military might. The national aim, the eradication of Israel. And if there were any doubts that the Arabs wanted war, PLO leader Ahmed Shukari made their intentions quite clear. This is a fight for the homeland. It is either us or the Israelis. There is no middle road. The Jews of Palestine will have to leave. We will facilitate their departure to their former homes. Any of the old Palestinian Jewish population who survive may stay, but it is my impression that none of them will survive. We shall destroy Israel and its inhabitants. And as for the survivors, if there are any, the boats are ready to deport them. His bold prediction was made on June 1st, just a few days before the war began. On that same day, Germany sent 20,000 gas masks to Israel for fear of biological weapons. The next day, Britain began a blood drive for the Jewish state. It was becoming clear Israel might not even see her 20th birthday. The Arab world was drunk with the idea of Jewish blood filling the streets of Jerusalem and flowing into the Mediterranean Sea. They would get their revenge for 1948, when Israel became a nation, on what they suddenly considered holy Muslim land. It's important to note that before the Jews returned to Israel, the Islamic world had little interest in Jerusalem. And that's not surprising. According to Arab American journalist Joseph Farah, quote, "The Quran says nothing about Jerusalem. It mentions Mecca hundreds of times. It mentions Medina countless times, but it never mentions Jerusalem. With good reason, there is no historical evidence to suggest Muhammad ever visited Jerusalem." Meanwhile, according to author Victor Sharp, quote, "The Arab Muslim street was shrieking blood-curdling threats of mass extermination for all Israelis, young and old, and the Arab leaders were falling over themselves to see who could utter the most hideous promise of massacre and slaughter." From May 15th, Egypt had begun to mass its troops in the Sinai Desert near the Israeli border. Syria, from May 18th, started filling the Golan Heights, overlooking Israel's cities, towns, and kibbutzim with its troops. On May 30th, with Arab troops surrounding Israel, the port of Eilat blocked, and dealing with the daily taunts from the leaders of the Arab nations, we see Jordan's King Hussein signing a defense pact with Egypt. Nasser celebrated, saying, quote, "The armies of Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon are poised on the borders of Israel to face the challenge, while standing behind us are the armies of Iraq, Algeria, Kuwait, Sudan, and the whole Arab nation. This act will astound the whole world. Today, they will know that the Arabs are arranged for battle. The critical hour has arrived. We have reached the stage of serious action and not declarations." There was no doubt. The Arabs wanted war. Israel was being goaded into a fight to the death. Well, at least her death. She would either defeat several Arab nations or cease to be a nation. What happened next, not even Israel anticipated. Make sure you go to God TV so you never miss an episode, and you can find me at roncantor.com.